let's get started. So the first book I have here is Pride and Prejudice. I actually stole this from my high school. So back in the day, hopefully they don't watch this video. But this is by Jane Austen. I'm actually planning a longer video about Jane Austen, so yeah, let me know down in the comments if you're interested in that. But yeah, so if you don't know about Pride and Prejudice, it follows Elizabeth, Lizzie, and her sisters as they go through the Ton, which is basically kind of the English season of finding husbands. And this is where she meets Mr. Darcy, and it kind of takes off from there. But I think Libras are romantics at heart. We love artistry and we love a good romance. So I thought Pride and Prejudice would be a great place to start. So the next book I have here is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This is such a fun gothic, Southern Gothic book. I think not many people have kind of categorized it as Southern Gothic, but I'm a little over like 10 chapters in. It's definitely Southern Gothic. I think Libras who love the dark will definitely gravitate towards this book, and I think it just has a really good fun time. There's a cool cast of characters that are really interesting, and so yeah, I'm just loving this book, and I think anyone who's born around October loves Halloween, so anything with a spooky vibe, I think it would definitely love this book. So the next book I have here is Malice by Heather Walter, and I absolutely love this book. This is a sapphic romance, or the retelling of Maleficent, which is the villain from Sleeping Beauty, and it is a sapphic romance, which I absolutely love. I love sapphic romances. There's another sapphic romance in this list, and I just love retelling of fairy tales, and that this is a dark retelling centered around the villain. We learned so much more about her and her relationship with Aurora that I think is just so well done, and so I think being at heart, it definitely kind of speaks to that. It's very atmospheric and just an interesting take on Maleficent, and I really think it's really interesting and really cool. So the next one that we have here is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I've talked about this book a couple of times already. It actually matches my painting back there, but this is such a fun book. I would categorize this book as Bridgerton with magic and fae, which is so cool. I think, first of all, love that. So this centers around our main character, and she's kind of, it seems to me almost that she's on the spectrum. It's not pointed out, but I think it kind of takes an interesting look at disability, if you do want to take that perspective. And she wants to find a cure for herself going through the time, but she ends up meeting this wizard. I would say wizard. She ends up meeting this wizard to help her on her quest to heal herself, but she kind of learns to love herself in the process. So I just love this. I think it's so cool, and I love the cover art as well. Again, kind of keeping with that fairy tale theme that I think Libras really love. Yeah, I think it's a good time. So the next book I have is Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. I loved this book. I read it so fast. Just like Half a Soul, I read both of these extremely fast, and I wasn't really thinking. I heard about this book and I was like, okay, sure, whatever, I'll read it at some point. But then I was just like, you know what, like up on Book Talk and BookTube, so I was like, alright, let me take the plunge. So I read it, I enjoyed it so much. It was really cool. I think the love story was cute. There was a lot of history. It dealt with some emotional things as well. Some of it was kind of cringe, I'm not gonna, but I had a good time. And that's all you really want from a romance novel. And I think Libras as well, it's light and airy, just like a Libra. And I think, yeah, I think it's a great recommendation for that point. point, and that again is Delilah Green Doesn't Care. So the next book I have here is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this has been everywhere. I absolutely love this. This is a sapphic romance. It's a sprawling tale of a Hollywood starlet, Evelyn Hugo, and it kind of chronicles her life and her 7 husbands and the true love of her life. And I think it just really kind of talks about some heavier things. It doesn't go as deep as I would like into the culture at that time around why 2 women could necessarily be together, but I think it definitely touches on it, and it really paints a beautiful picture, and it is really, really good, and I loved it. Only heard great things about it, and I know she wrote another book called Daisy Jones and the Six that I've yet to read, but it is on my TBR. So ACOTAR. So A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I haven't heard any controversies about her. I know there are some, but I haven't personally read them. But I thoroughly enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses. I absolutely had a good time. The second book, amazing. So this is just a stand-in for the series. I love a good series. I love a good fairy tale. Not fairy tale, but fae story series. And I think this is a good one to kind of get your feet wet. If you know a Libra, we love a good time, sprawling romance stories. I think this is perfect. Has villains, romance, what's the word I'm looking for? Love triangles, all of that. Badass women, all of that. Super cool. And yeah, if you're wanting to get your feet wet into fantasy, I think this is a good one. And they're not too long, but they're enjoyable. And they keep me intrigued. 2 books that I haven't read, and so the next book that I haven't read personally, but that is on my TBR, is Sirens and Muses by Antonia Ingress, and this is about a group of characters, 4 people in the art world in an elite art school in New York, and I think it just has the glitz and the glamour, the aesthetics that Libras love, and art. And it's very much like dark academia set in an art. And I think I haven't really seen that before. And I love the cover of this. It's giving Lucifer. So I'm very excited to read this. It has a lot of intrigue. I think someone does die. So it does very much go into dark academia, which I think is really cool. Definitely set in an art school. I went to art school twice now. I have my MFA and my BFA, so I think that's really cool that someone would pick that setting, because it is a lot of competition, and I could see how that could get really dark and twisted. So I'm very excited about this as well. And the next book I have is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I haven't read this. It's on my TBR. It just looks so cozy and just perfect for fall, around October and September when the weather is getting cold. This centers around a few characters that go into this coffee shop, and it's actually almost like a time machine. So you can go back to someone you love when you haven't said goodbye to. So I just think that premise alone is really beautiful, and I heard that it's written really beautifully, and it's short, which I think is always a plus. A nice little short read, but I love the artwork, and it just looks super cozy for the fall time around October. So I think Libras would really enjoy this. If you know a Libra, if you are a Libra, I think you would get a kick out of all of these books, but definitely this one seems very sweet-hearted and tender, and I can't wait to read this. I'm very much looking forward to this one. So yeah, those are all of my book recommendations for Libras. I just wanted to do this video because I thought it would be fun. And yeah, if you have any book recommendations, link them or comment them down below. And yeah, if you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear what you think about them. And like and subscribe if you want to join the fam. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye. you.